Welcome back to our Salute to Veterans. Local schools may be in virtual learning because of the coronavirus pandemic, but students are still honoring our veterans.
And this includes Preble High School in Green Bay, which celebrated today with a rendition of our national anthem.
Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And in addition to that choir performance, a Preble High School staff member recited the Pledge of Allegiance, and a student played taps to honor those veterans who have left us.
Just beautiful.
Well, the ranks of veterans are growing with a new generation who were called to serve.
And those who answered that call talked with us about their time in the armed forces.
They are the ones who answer the call, putting their lives on the line to protect our country.
Physically, I was a big, strong guy. Mentally, I was still a teenager.
Their Army, Marines, Seabees, naval trumpeters sharing their stories, the good,
When I was in second grade, all I wanted for Christmas that year was a trumpet.
the bad,
The next thing I knew, they were attacking, and it was just a different sound out there.
and the ugly.
We didn't run patrols like you see in movies where guys are out looking for trouble. We waited for trouble to come to us, and it did.
They sacrificed it all to protect the American people. These are the faces of our hometown heroes, and today we honor them and their willingness to never give up the fight.
So, I mean, this was all new for everyone. And we were having a real good time doing it.
But you just do your job. You learn that you just walk out and start working.
There's an old saying, once a Marine, always a Marine, so.
And joining us now, Caitlin Corbett, who just filed that report for us, who also covers our Hometown Heroes series. Caitlin, thanks so much for joining us on our special tonight. We are all familiar with the veterans of World War II and the Korean conflict, but we're seeing a lot of younger veterans who may have served in Desert Shield and Desert Storm. When you talk with these veterans, what are they telling you?
Well, it's really fascinating, actually. One of my more recent hometown heroes, Nathan Thomas, he served in both Iraq and Afghanistan. His grandfather is who inspired him to serve. His grandfather survived Pearl Harbor, and what he talks about is you can't really compare what they went through back then to what he went through today, and things are just so different post 9/11. Technology, rules, everything is so different. So to hear those two different perspectives and to hear people compare it now it's really fascinating, and it's great to hear.
We've often heard stories from World War I, World War II veterans. Families say they don't want to talk about it. Is it difficult for some of these veterans to discuss what they went through in battle?
You know, I think time kind of heals all. Everybody that I've talked to has been so willing and so great when sitting down with me and having these conversations. And I think they like to share their stories. I mean, that's what they say, you know. It's helpful for other veterans to hear what they've went through, to hear them talk about it. And I think if they can encourage others to share their stories, it's something they're really proud of, and it's something they love to talk about.
And then they've got to make that transition from military life into civilian life once again. How difficult is that adjustment for them?
You know, a lot of them have actually said that they've had really easy adjustments. Many of them I've found actually work in Veterans Affairs offices and things like that nowadays because they want to help others. Like I said, I mean, it can be difficult for some, not all, but if they can make any type of a difference with other veterans out there and helping each other out by sharing their stories and their experiences, they love to do that.
Caitlin, these men and women, they are not drafted. They volunteered for this. They've got to have a special sense of pride among these veterans who felt that it was their duty to serve our country.
So much pride, and it's so inspiring for me to sit down with them and hear some of their stories. They're all proud to have been there, to have served, to have protect our country, and pave the way for generations in the future to live like we do in the United States. So much pride.
Let me touch on the older generation. We're losing more and more of our World War II veterans, our Korean War veterans. How important is it to keep the memories of what they did alive in today's age?
Well, you know, as I just said, I think amongst the younger veterans, it's something that they want to keep going. And they're paving the way, like I said, for future generations. They're paving the way for what we value in America, which is our freedom. They lay it on the line for that. And so keeping these memories alive is so important, and hearing those stories from our older veterans and young alike is just, it's so great, and it is inspiring, and happy we get to celebrate that today.
Local 5's Caitlin Corbett, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Our Hometown Hero series with Caitlin runs on Fridays on Local 5 this morning, and then on Friday evenings at 6 and 10. And to nominate a Hometown Hero, you can just email us at the address that you see on your screen.
Well, often veterans come home and are unaware of the benefits available to them. Coming up, we'll talk with those who run the organizations that help inform these veterans on how to receive what they're owed in service to our country.
We had some experiences. That's the first time I ever came close to getting tagged. I said, "What was that?" The guy, it was the middle of the night, and the guy sitting down behind the sandbags on the floor, he says, "Red and about 1 inch from your head." And then I got down.
And you're just a farm boy from Wisconsin, and now you're like a